I'm Debra McCracken. Welcome to episode 6 of Debra Quilts Lots and Knits Bits, because I quilt a lot and I knit a little bit. So thank you for joining me here in beautiful sunny Penticton, British Columbia, Canada. And today is Tuesday, May the 28th. It is in the evening, it's after work, so I've got the lights on because it's shady on this side of the house, and the shadows and stuff are just weird at this time of night, so I apologize if I'm a little shinier than normal. If you are joining us again, thank you so much for coming back. And if you are new, please sit with us for a few minutes here and just listen to my little talking about quilting and knitting and the general things that are going on in life. Anyway, I have been pretty busy. I've just been plugging along. I've been working still full-time at Poppin's Quilt Parlor here in Penticton. And I'm on week 9 of my 4 to 6 week stint. I like saying that, but you know, I'm having so much fun. I'll be there for a few more weeks, and I'll love every minute of it. So I wish Kathy a speedy recovery. However, it's okay if she doesn't come back right away. So anyway, I've been working at the store for most of the day. Then I've been coming home and quilting and knitting, and my body is saying, you know, we really miss our naps. And I agree. I miss my naps too. I've actually this is my second stab at filming this. I did it as soon as I got home, and I couldn't talk. I couldn't remember anything. So I sat down, made some notes, deleted the last video, and here I am again. So to start with, I'll talk about my knitting. I am working on a couple of projects right now. The Over Easy sweater that I showed probably 3 podcasts ago still doesn't have any sleeves. So that's one work in progress. I didn't bring it downstairs with me. And the other work in progress is my column sweater. Now I've started this, I think this is my 6th try at knitting this sweater. It's got this nice little lace across the front, and it's just little cap sleeves. And then there is a little detail down the side edge that looks like a seam. And the last time I looked at the pattern, I think it said that I needed to knit 13 stitches from the underarm, or 13 inches of stockinette from the underarm down to the bottom. But I have to look at the pattern again because that's what I remember, and that might not even be what it says. So I'm hoping that it's going to fit this time. And there's another, once you get finished the stockinette, there's another little row of lace around the bottom edge. And I think it's going to be like a pretty little summer sweater. It's made out of, I'm using the hemp for knitting, all hemp fingering weight, I think. And it's like a nice cellulose fiber, and it's really, it's softening up as I go. I did rinse these skeins out before I wound them up, as it does say on their website that you can do that, to soak the skeins in a little bit of wool wash or hair conditioner or something like that, I believe. So I just use my wool wash, soak the skeins, let them dry, and then I ball them up. So I'm almost finished. So I may have a hand-knitted garment to wear to Fiberphilia Fest, June 22nd, 23rd in New Denver. Let's keep our fingers crossed, because that could happen. I've never actually knit myself a whole sweater before. So I took that down to the beach last night where I posted a nice sunset almost picture on Instagram. We took our dessert, went down to the beach, and I took my knitting down. And I took it down in this little, this one's called a puzzle bag. So it's made out of charm squares, which are just 5-inch squares that are pre-cut. And this is a line by Kate Spain, a couple years old. And I don't remember what the fabric's called. But this little bag is totally reversible. There's no zippers and no pockets. It just has the bag and handles. Fran taught this at our day guild a few years ago, maybe last year. It's been a little while. And I really enjoyed making it. So if you'd like me to make one for you, you can let me know and I'll do that. I haven't made any new project bags for the store. There's still quite a few listed on debraquiltslots.com. I have a few custom orders yet to do from the quilt conference that we went to, and I've got some really cool dragonfly fabric all quilted up and ready to go. I just haven't had a chance. I go to the shop during the day and I come home and I quilt in the evening, and then it's time to go to the beach for dessert, and it just takes up a lot more time than it should, I guess. But anyway, so that's pretty much all the knitting I have been doing. I've been trying to be a monogamous knitter. I have 4 more projects yet that are waiting to be done. I bought another set of patterns off of Ravelry the other day. Patty Lyons was on a video, a YouTube video I was watching with Christy Glass, and I watched one a while ago, and she talked about swatching, and I learned so much from that video, and I was able to actually swatch this up again and start again and feel confident that I'm on the right needles, doing the right size and all that. So this pattern that I bought from her, the name of the pattern is totally escaping me, but it was bundled with a cardigan. It's a little t-shirt pattern, and it's got a little insert in the front, or it can be in the back, and on one side it's lace and on the other side it's stockinette, and it's just really a cute little top. So I like the top, and the bundle that I bought on Ravelry, I don't think is available anymore. It came with a cardigan pattern as well, and some videos. So anyway, I'll post the name in my show notes, and I'm pretty excited to kind of get started on that, even though I want to do the Extapa sweater out of the linen that I got from Kathy at So Much More Yarn in New Denver. At the conference we were at the end of April. So there's just too many things to do. So as you may see, I am wearing my crisscross apron from Mary Mulari Designs. I got the pattern from Kathy at So Much More in New Denver. And we did order some in at Poppins for the store. So it's just a fun apron, and it crosses over at the back. It has pockets, and it's totally reversible. So I've been wearing this at the store when I'm working, and it's so much fun. People are coming in going, "Oh, I love your apron." And so the other day I went to the drugstore to get some lunch and snacks, and the lady's like, "Oh, I just love your dress." And I'm like, "Oh, well, thank you." You can make one too. So anyway, they've been selling lots of patterns, and the lady came in the other day and bought exactly the same fabric to make hers too, so that was quite a compliment. So thank you very much, lady. So what else has been going on at Poppins? Well, My friend Heather from Caslow put a picture up on a Facebook page the other day saying, or not the other day, about a month ago, saying, does anybody know where I can get this pattern? This is The Bare Face by Janet Fogg. And Janet Fogg is a quilt designer in Oregon. And she doesn't ship individually to Canada. She ships all over the States. Anyway, her patterns are very cool. So we did get some in at Poppins because we were able to get some the wholesale route. So I ordered the Bear for me. There are a couple more of Drusilla the Dragon. She's made out of clamshells. And my next one is the Quick Brown Fox. And I don't know if you can see it in the picture. He's made out of a checkerboard. See, even the detail in his ears is popped into the checkerboard piecing. And the brown bear face, or the Bare Face, is made out of bear paw blocks. So these are a lot of fun. I've actually gotten one corner done. And it's a very easy to follow pattern. And there's some piecing and there's some applique, and I did mine kind of a piece-liqué, Sharon Chamber, curved piecing, glue, applique method, and he's working out just fine. So, you know, if you recall, when I started this podcast, it's out because I had been outed about how many unfinished objects I have. How many quilts are started and not finished. And, well, there's a story. I thought I'd start a podcast and that'll encourage me to get some of my UFOs finished. Well, I haven't finished one. I talked about a couple the first few podcasts, and then it was like, okay, don't even say you're going to finish anything because it's not going to happen. But I can tell you, I started this week my Bare Face. I have the fabrics picked out for my dragon and my Quick Brown Fox. I also have the fabrics picked out for my Emily Taylor Grizzly Bear collage quilt that I picked up this pattern. I showed it to you on the last podcast. I got it from Delilah at Cottage Treasures Quilting, and I plan to do my bear in blue and purple. So I happened to notice when I was digging through a pile the other day that I have a stack of McKenna Ryan Willow fabrics. They are a very soft, pastel-y, very kind of mushy, muted tones, and the fabric came out about, I don't know, I think it was about 10 years ago. I did have some in my store that was Flamingo Quiltworks, and they were so pretty that my husband went out to the store one evening when I was out and picked out a piece of fabric and made a screen with it with some bamboo garden poles, and hung the screen in front of a light, and when the light's on, the butterflies glow. So I found that screen the other day after a couple of moves, because we didn't have it up at the last house, and we could put it up at this house maybe, but I don't know where. And I thought, oh gee, you know, that's kind of right along the lines of what I'd like to do that bear out of. So digging through my pile the other day, another batch of fabrics popped up from that same line, and I picked those up at our Modern Quilt Guild D-Stash that we had in January. At our January meeting, everybody brought things from their stash that they weren't going to use anymore, or were willing to part with, or were ready to clean out and have a fresh slate for the new year. So all of these things were laid out on tables, and I think we had like 6 or 8 tables, and there were, like, it was piled high. There was fabric, there were books, there were tools, there were rulers, there were magazines, there was yarn, there was glue, there was paint. Like, there's everything you could think of. I even got a light switch cover that you can put fabric inside and make your light switch pretty. So, having taken 4 bags and trying to get rid of my bags in the D-stash as well, so I'd have nothing to bring anything home in, I ended up bringing home one of my very large shopping bags full of fabric, and in there was a bundle of the McKenna Ryan willow fabrics that were leftovers from somebody's quilt. And thank you so much, whoever that was, because I'm going to use those for my bear, along with the other ones that I have in my drawers that have been waiting for about 10 years to be used on a special project. Yay! So, you know, I really should just work on the unfinished objects instead of starting new things, but I can't help myself. We'll see. And speaking of starting new things, this quilt behind me is another 4-patch or 4 fabric stack and whack kind of thing. I saw something somewhere. I don't even remember where I saw it, but I thought, that looks like it could be. So there were 4 panels. It was a panel that had some words on it, and some owls, and a cat, and pumpkins, and it was just pretty. So I thought, I wonder how that will work out. So I stacked up 4 of them, cut them into strips, cut those into squares, and then I cut the squares in half on the diagonal. And I ended up with this. So the owls are here, and the cat's here. There's a bunny too. But the rest of this was the pumpkins, and then the blue was kind of sky, and there were some very cool little bits to of kind of whimsical flowers and stuff. And then it did say in the corner, it did say, "Be thankful for every little thing." And I thought, oh gee, isn't that cute? So anyway, I do have the back already for it. Well, I bought the fabric for the back. I still need to piece it together a little bit. I have the binding cut. It needs to be pieced together. So I just have to get some quilts finished, and then it's my turn, and I can get some quilts on the frame, and some of my own quilts on the frame get unquilted. But I can't seem to say no, so that's going to be a little while, because even today somebody came into the store and said, "Oh, I'd like a quilt made before July." And I said, "Oh yeah, I can do that. But you know, Deborah, you need to have a calendar printed on your arm or something, because there's only a couple of days left in May. It's the 28th of May today, and May has 31 days. And then it's June on Saturday, and then you have things to do." So anyway, I work very well under pressure. Deadlines are my friends. So just a little, when I filmed this earlier, I started talking about all the things that are coming up, and I didn't know what the dates were. I forgot a whole bunch, and so before I deleted my video, I sat down and made notes of all the things that I talked about, and then I went and did the research. So here is the new and improved version of what's coming up in the next little while. So on Saturday, June the 1st, which is Saturday, today's Tuesday, that's Saturday, Yarn Okanagan is having their marketplace at the Laurel Packing House. I couldn't find what time it starts. It's in Kelowna, yarnokanagan.com, and there's a $5 entry fee to get into the marketplace, and they're going to have lots of yarn and goodies and project bags and that kind of stuff. So I'm hoping to go. And then on my way home, I would like to stop at the Peachland Arts Center, where the fabricators are having their show. It's called A Fine Line. And the fabricators are an art quilt group, and I think the majority of their members are from the Okanagan, but I know that there's members from Calgary and from the coast, I think, too, and stuff. But they're all incredible artists with incredible imaginations, and they make quilted art. And I went to the last show, I think it was 2 years ago, and it was a pretty amazing. Actually, I've been a couple of times. So, 2 years ago, and then 2 years before that, I've been a couple of times, and then just been in awe of the things that these artists produce. So that's running from now until June 23rd at the Peachland Arts Center, which is the little yellow schoolhouse on the beach in Penticton. And it goes Tuesday to Saturday, 9 to 4, and on Sundays from 10 to 4. So that'll be fun. And like I say, I'm hoping to stop at that. But if I don't get there this weekend, 2 weeks from this weekend, on June 14th and 15th, the Pincushion Quilt Guild in Peachland is having their show at the community center, which is right behind the yellow schoolhouse. And their show is every 2 years, I believe, or could be every 3 years. Anyway, it's a pretty amazing little show, and they're going to have a ton of vendors there, and I can't wait. I think it's going to be a great little show. So that is from 10 to 4 on Friday and Saturday, June 14th and 15th in Peachland. And then we go to June 22nd, 23rd, which is Fiberphilia Fest in New Denver. And the 21st, the Friday night, there is the yarn tasting, where you sip a little bit of wine and try out some yarns. You take your needles with you and can fiddle around a little bit with some of the stuff from the vendors, and then you can make some decisions. Maybe you want to buy something new. So that's how I ended up with hemp yarn last year. So, and then there's classes on Saturday and Sunday, and I am teaching the quilting classes. I'm doing a beginner class on Sunday, and on Saturday we're doing a quilt by the Guilty Quilter. It's called Passages, and it's a 3D looking kind of fun quilt, and it goes together pretty good, so pretty fast. So that will be a great time, I'm sure. So there's also knitting and dyeing and spinning and weaving classes and felting classes. And I saw something the other day that they might even have some like little mini classes in the evenings on the Saturday and maybe the Sunday. And they have a great marketplace as well. There's a ton of people going with yarn and project bags, and I believe there's even going to be a quilt shop there. And so much more yarn. And New Denver also has quilting stuff too, and beautiful yarns. And she always seems to have the needles I need and sends them to me in the mail, so that's awesome. So hope to see you there at Fiberphilia Fest, and if you need anything brought from Penticton, by all means let me know and I will bring it with me. Okay. So that's end of June. And in September 27th and 28th, there's the Vernon Quilt Show. And there's also the Nelson Quilt Show. The Kootenai Quilt Guild in Nelson is putting on a show at the Prestige Inn for Friday the 27th from 12 to 6 and Saturday, September 28th at 10 to 4. And I'll be there as a vendor. I'm going to have my project bags, and I'm going to have some patterns for the project bags, and I'm going to bring some things from Poppins. So if there's something specific or something you've seen me posting on Facebook, or anything you've been looking for, let me know and I'll bring it with me. You can take a look at it in person, which is the best way to buy fabric. But if you need to talk to a local quilt shop and see what they've got, we always send pictures and you can make decisions from them, and it's pretty good. We got a new line of fabric this week. Well, it came in Thursday, Friday last week, called White Sands from Northcott, and it's just stunning. And so far, only one person that I showed it to hasn't said, "Oh, I'll take some of that." So I did post it on my Facebook page, just a view of the sides of the bolts, and then if you go down to it's on the Debra Quilts Lots page, and if you go down in the comments, I spread some bolts out and somebody wanted to see specific things, so take a look. It's pretty nice. So besides the Janet Fogg patterns that we got in, we did get in some of hers that are a duck. He's called Woodrow, so he might be a wood duck, but you could make him into a mallard duck, which we seem to have many, many, many of here. And there's also, it's called Clown at Sea, and it's a clownfish, and it's made out of Storm at Sea blocks. Like, it's very cool. I just couldn't bring another one home. I just couldn't. Also, came in on Friday, goats in pajamas. It's a pattern for a quilt, and it's little goats in pajamas. It was last summer or the summer before. I was filling in for a day or two, and this truck pulled up in front of the quilt shop, and in the back of the truck was a big dog crate, and in the dog crate were two goats, and they had been baying all the way up the street. And the guy got out of the truck, and he said to the goats, he said, "I'll be right back, you guys." And they baa. And the whole time that they were there, which was only like 15 minutes, they were bag and bag. And Barb and I were laughing so hard. We were crying. We literally had tears rolling down our faces. And as he pulled away, you could hear them going all the way down the street, and then he turned the corner and went down the other one-way street on the next block, and we could still hear them, and we were just laughing and howling. So when I found a YouTube channel of goats singing Christmas carols this year, look it up. I said that to Barb, and we laughed and laughed and laughed again. And then I happened to see the goats in pajamas on Instagram. Well, we looked it up, and we got them. We got them. And the same fellow, I think I don't even want to butcher his name, because that would be rude. The same fellow has another pattern. It's T-Rex on roller skates, and they are dinosaurs with little arms and big long tails, and they're on roller skates, and it's the coolest thing. So we got the T-Rex on roller skates, we got the goats in pajamas, we got the fish that's made out of Storm at Sea blocks, we got the duck, we have some more dragon patterns that are made out of clamshell pieces. Goodness. Oh, and yesterday, a bag designer from Belgium came in. I don't remember her name either, but her patterns were awesome. They are very detailed, and they're like a little booklet, and you just you start at page 1 and just keep working your way through. And she had two clutch wallets, one bigger one that could be used like almost as a purse, and then a smaller one that was just wallet size. It actually can be made in 3 different sizes, and a tote bag with a drawstring at the top, and then another little over-the-shoulder little bags. So we got those patterns at the store as well, and we're ordering the hardware to go with them. But very cool. And the fabric that she used on them said, oh yeah, that's European tulip pink fabric. And we're going like, really? Because we've never seen it before. So it's just cool to even look at the artwork on the patterns. So I think that's all that I can be excited about from the store right now, because I just can't bring any more home. Honest to goodness. I'm in my 9th week of my 4 to 6 week stint. And in about 8 weeks, week 8, middle of week 8, I realized there'd only been 3 days that I hadn't taken something home. Yeah. So a little bit of this fabric and a little bit of that fabric, and oh my God, that's gorgeous. I need a lot of that. It adds up. And it's taking up space, and I can't sew fast enough right now. Anyway, that is probably all I have to tell you about. Like I say, I'm hoping to get to Yarn Okanagan this weekend. I will get to the Peachland Quilt Show 2 weeks from that, 14th, 15th. And I will be at Fiberphilia Fest June 22nd and 23rd in New Denver. Fiberphiliafest.ca. Go and sign up for a class or two, even a short one. Something you've never done before. Might be fun. So I hope to see you there, and I hope to get another video taped before then, but who knows? Who knows how things are going to go. Anyway, happy knitting, happy quilting, enjoy the sunshine, and get some sand in your toes, in between your toes. Go in, put your feet in the water. Looks pretty cold, but there's people swimming because it's supposed to be record heat here in the Okanagan all summer long, which is okay because you just go jump in the lake.